You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
We begin with a weather impact alert. A storm intensifying here this morning. 2 Amazon semi-trucks crashed on local freeways overnight on the 15 and the 805. So be careful out there on the roads. Thanks for being here at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Neda Irampour. Glad you're with us here this morning. We have team coverage for you. CBS 8's Regina Yurita live near the crash on the 15. We do want to start with meteorologist Evan Irani. You're tracking the rain, Evan.
Yeah, we've got plenty more on the way, especially as we go from tonight into early tomorrow. But for the day today, we're still looking at the light stuff coming down. So far this morning, it's been mist, drizzle, and light rain. We don't have any yellow on the screen indicating the more moderate activity. We do, however, have a stronger cell that's starting to make its approach towards us. San Juan Capistrano getting the brunt of it right now, moving toward the Oceanside area. These storms have favored North County, so the heaviest accumulations over the last 24 hours have been up around there versus the much lighter stuff that's been down toward the South Bay. Well, what we are most concerned about, I should say, is what we see developing up around the San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara area, all the way down through LA, which is the darker green and then the yellow tones on the screen, which are areas where we see the potential for moderate to heavy rain to develop as it moves in our direction. That's going to come mainly toward late tonight, past about 6 and 7 p.m. But over the course of the day, you can see how we still hold on to about a 50-40% chance of rain, climbs up to 60, and then 90% by 6 p.m. That's when we see the bulk of that moderate to heavy stuff. Let's take a look outside on the roads right now. It is a mess out there. We've got about 15 crashes. Not going to take you to each of them. I can take you to 2 that are specifically causing some pretty decent backups. First one is on the 15. We've got a lane blocked on the 15 northbound before the 8 freeway, causing some stop and go traffic. Second thing to mention is the HOV blockage in the left-hand shoulder block that we have on the 5 northbound at La Costa Avenue. As you go from Oceanside down through the Leucadia area, we've got about 3 different crashes to watch for. So this is going to be one of those mornings to practice defensive driving, slow down your speeds. And remember, if you see a pool of water out there on the surface streets, turn around, don't drown, don't be driving through any of those flooded areas. CBS 8's Regina Rita also joining us this morning. She has been at a crash on the 15 that's been causing some delays in the area. Regina, what are things looking like now?
Well, Evan, good morning. My photog Miguel and I have been tracking the weather conditions as well as the traffic conditions on the road. So we're on the I-15 northbound, heading northbound, right close to where the I-8 meets. I'm going to turn the camera around to kind of show you just the congestion that we're seeing. That the traffic is slowly moving along. So as we get closer to where that Amazon truck crashed, this is what you're met with, right? Slightly some congestion in this area. But let me show you a video of earlier this morning to kind of track down what we were looking at. So this is still inactive. Crews are cleaning up the area and making sure no toxic chemicals are spilled on the road or any debris is on the freeway that can cause any even larger accident. But this is a video from earlier. You can see that truck on the side of the road and fire crews on the scene picking up debris. This all happened at 1:30 this morning on the northbound side of the 15 close to Interstate A. So all northbound lanes were closed earlier this morning, and right now we are seeing more lanes opening up, but still dealing with that traffic, still seeing crews here wrapping up the scene. So San Diego Fire and Rescue have confirmed that the driver from that Amazon truck was transported to the hospital with
We apologize, there were some audio issues there, but yes, that is going to cause some major backups this morning at the 15 and the 8. Now take a look at this. The driver of another Amazon semi-truck was involved in a crash here. This one happened just after 3 this morning in the South Bay. This is the northbound lanes of the 805 near State Route 54. So you see where that front end there is smashed up. It is not clear if there are any serious injuries. We'll be sure to update you as soon as we get more information. You also see the rain coming down pretty heavily in that spot. Those roads are very slick.
And this morning, SDG&E says they have extra crews to respond to these outages quickly during the storm. The utility says if you see a downed power line or damaged electrical equipment, do not touch it. You should always assume that it is energized. You can call 911 or SDG&E directly at the number right there on your screen. They also suggest you have a battery-operated radio and flashlights in case the power goes out. Of course, do not rely on candles. Could start a whole different problem.
And now this morning, 2 Navy pilots are safe after their jet crashed into the San Diego Bay. Take a look at this new video.
Right now, the jet is still underwater, and Naval Base Coronado is investigating what may have caused the aircraft to go down. It happened around 10 yesterday morning, just off Shelter Island, during a landing attempt. Thankfully, both pilots ejected moments before impact, and it was good that a fishing boat was in the right place at the right time to help out. The pilots are in the hospital in good condition, and right now we're hearing from people who saw the crash.
Specifically remember seeing a fighter jet just going pretty much straight down, almost completely vertical, and the noises where I heard it sounded like a full afterburner of the jet, and after it crashed, it just completely, like maybe a few moments later, then it went completely silent.
The San Diego County Department of Environmental Health and Quality issued a closure for Lawrence Street in Point Loma in the Kellogg Beach shoreline because of reports of jet fuel in the water. The area will reopen once testing confirms it is safe.
All right, 6:06 now, and as people are waking up this morning, it's wet everywhere. Unfortunately, so many crashes because of it.
Yeah, people just need to be taking it slower this
Yeah.
morning. It is not a bad thing to move over to the slow lane this morning if, driving in the rain gets you a little anxious. I know personally, like we were saying earlier this morning, slowing down just that much.
I reduced by 5 miles an hour.
Literally.
I got here 30 seconds.
That will do
late.
it. Literally,
You'll be okay. Your boss will
difference that can be
understand.
made in 5 miles per hour
Yeah.
when you're needing to slam on your brakes is very important.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the morning to slow it down a bit. It's also going to be the morning to practice defensive driving. Don't assume that the drivers around you know what they're doing. Make sure that you have enough space between you and all other vehicles around you. When you look outside, temperatures are mostly in the 50s, 57 in San Diego and Chula Vista, 55 in Santee. If you're taking the kids off to school, the jacket with the hood, the boots, the umbrella, all things that they can take with them this morning. We are going to be looking at expiration time now for our high surf advisory, flood watch, and wind advisory, but none of these expire until Friday at the earliest. First is going to be the flood watch that expires at 4 a.m. tomorrow. That's the green color. High surf advisory remains until Saturday at 4 a.m., and so does that wind advisory, that tan color on your screen. So all three playing in tandem to tell the weather story today, which is that the water out there along the ocean is very intense, 7 to 10 footers. We've got plenty of additional rain on the way, upwards of an inch, maybe 2 inches in some cases. And the wind is going to continue to be beating those palm trees and causing some delays across the mountains and deserts primarily. Let's time out the rest of the storm for you. Here's 7:30 a.m. You see how the majority of our coastline all the way to our inland valleys going to be seeing that light rain. The more moderate stuff going to be centered up around North County. We push through the rest of the morning. We'll see those showers mainly up around our mountains. Coastline gets a little bit of a break, so do a lot of our inland valleys. And then the next wave comes through by the evening commute time. 3 p.m. or so, moving through 4 and 5. That's where we start to see the heaviest stuff come about. This is likely to be the most intense window for us. It's about 8:30 p.m. on the clock here, going to start up a little earlier than that, likely closer to about 7 or so, which means that the tail end of the evening commute all the way through the overnight stretch could have some more moderate to heavy cells moving on shore. When we see all the remaining wet weather come to the ground, it could be an additional 2 inches up in Fallbrook, 1.3 inches in Oceanside, 1.5 inches in Poway, 1.2 inches in Alpine. What we've seen so far is around 1/4 of an inch, so you can kind of add that up to see what we'll be working with in total. And then, of course, when the storm is all done with us, we'll be able to bring you some of those highest totals. Let's take a look at how your roads are looking this morning so far. We have, like I mentioned, seen plenty of crashes and collisions. We have many more that we will likely be tracking through the morning commute. On your screen here, you got about 10 of them. I'll take you to a couple. Right-hand shoulder is blocked with the crash on the 5 northbound at Capistrano Drive. That's just north of Oceanside. We also earlier talked about the HOV lane and left-hand shoulder that's blocked on the 5 northbound at La Costa Avenue. Also, we earlier were seeing that semi crash that did lead to plenty of delays on the 805 northbound. That's still going to be the case this morning. Let's take a look at your border wait times as well. 30-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry, pretty quick across the ports of entry. Otay Mesa Port of Entry also only going to take you about 30 minutes. Ned and Eric.
Evan, thank you very much for that. Yeah, so many crashes so early this morning. For the latest weather conditions and alerts on the go, download our free CBS 8 app from Google Play or the Apple App Store. You can sign up for weather alerts in your area and track this storm on our live radar map.